This is not a Mustang. This is a $325,000 American hypercar wearing a pony badge. The 2025 Ford Mustang GTD isn't just the wildest Mustang ever built. It's one of the most extreme, track-focused, obsessively engineered street-legal cars in history. Forget the Shelby GT500. Forget the Dodge Demon. This thing was designed to lap the Nürburgring faster than a Porsche 911 GT3 RS. And it does, with a time that puts it in supercar territory. But what makes the GTD truly special isn't just its 800 horsepower supercharged 5.2-liter V8, or its active aerodynamics, or even its track-tuned Multimatic suspension. It's the details. The hidden engineering choices, the rivalries, the legal loopholes, and the obsessive attention to airflow, heat, and weight. From a window into the rear suspension to a fuel door redesigned because of fender clearance, every inch of this car was rethought, tested, and perfected. And after spending time with Ford's engineers and driving it on track, I can tell you, the GTD isn't about brute force. It's about precision, obsession, and quiet rebellion against everything Chevy. So what are the coolest features hiding under its wide-body carbon fiber skin? Let's break down the 15 most fascinating details, because this might be the most American and most insane performance car ever made. Let's start with the most unexpected feature, a window in the back. Not for passengers, not for cargo, but so you can watch the rear suspension work while you drive. The GTD's rear setup is pure motorsport engineering. A pushrod-actuated, electronically controlled Multimatic ASV spool valve suspension system, mounted where the rear seats used to be. It's complex, lightweight, and brutally effective. But when Ford had to cover it up, CEO Jim Farley, a known gearhead, insisted they add a polycarbonate window so the world could see it. Tilt your rearview mirror down, and you'll see the rockers, links, and shocks moving in real time. Like watching a mechanical ballet at 150 miles per hour. This isn't just showmanship. It's pride. It says we didn't just bolt on parts. We built something revolutionary. And yes, it's named Jim's window internally. No other manufacturer would do this. Only Ford. Only this Ford would turn a functional cover into a showcase. It's a love letter to engineering, visible only to the driver. And honestly, it makes every drive feel like a private tour of a high-performance museum. The GTD's engine doesn't just breathe, it gulps. Its supercharged 5.2-liter V8 needs massive airflow, and the front grille alone wasn't enough. So Ford added a second intake, a flat, surfboard-shaped duct tucked between the main grille scoop and the hood on the driver's side. This secondary channel feeds air directly to the supercharger, ensuring no power loss at high speed. You won't see it unless you're looking for it, which is the point. This isn't flashy, it's functional. And it's a direct response to track testing, where engineers found the engine starved for air during long straights. The primary intake pulls from the nostril in the grille, but the second intake acts as a pressure reservoir, smoothing out airflow and eliminating turbulence. It's a small addition with a huge impact, the kind of solution only born from real-world track data. And unlike some rivals who rely on giant holes in the hood, Ford kept it clean, hidden, and efficient. This is how you feed a beast without sacrificing style. Here's a detail that proves Ford hates losing to Chevrolet, even symbolically. Engineers considered hollowing out the pony badge in the grille to improve radiator airflow, just like Chevy did with the Flowtie on the Corvette ZR1. But Ford said no, not because it wouldn't work, because Chevy did it first. They refused to copy their biggest rival, even if it meant finding another way. Instead, they used a carbon fiber insert behind the badge, both lighter and more premium. It still allows airflow, but without mimicking the competition. This tiny decision speaks volumes. The GTD isn't just about speed, it's about pride, identity, and rivalry. every choice is weighed not just for performance, but for brand warfare. And in this case, Ford chose originality over imitation, even if it cost them a few horsepower. That's not just engineering, it's culture. With the trunk replaced by a transaxle cooler, fans, and ducting, Ford had to decide how the cooling system would look. The fans are visible through vents in the trunk lid, and the team briefly considered painting them body color for a cleaner look. They quickly scrapped the idea. Why? Because it would have been too flashy, too showy, too unnecessary. The GTD isn't trying to impress casual observers. It's built for drivers who care about function, not finish. So they left the fans black, exposed, and honest. This car doesn't hide its purpose. It wears it proudly, but quietly. There's no need to brag. The lap times do that. This is a philosophy that runs deep. Subtlety isn't dead. It's just smarter now. The GTD looks aggressive, but not cartoonish. Wide, but not ridiculous. It's extreme, but never over the top. And that restraint? That's what makes it credible. Heat is the enemy of performance, and the GTD generates a lot of it. Originally, Ford planned a center-mounted exhaust. Sleek, symmetrical, dramatic. But during testing, the titanium Akrapovic exhaust pipes got so hot, over 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit, that they kept melting the reverse light housing. The solution? Dual-exit exhausts moved away from the center. Same sound, same performance, but now it works. Similarly, the trunk lid was originally going to be plastic until engineers realized the 250-degree heat from the transaxle cooler was warping prototypes. Solution? Carbon fiber, stronger, lighter, and heat-resistant. These aren't design choices, they're battle scars from real-world testing, and they prove something critical. The GTD wasn't designed in a lab, it was forged on track, where theory meets fire. Literally. The GTD's body is 81.7 inches wide, wider than a Lamborghini Huracan, and that caused a problem with the fuel door. The original hinge mechanism couldn't swing open without hitting the new, flared fender, so Ford completely redesigned it, not just the door, but the entire actuation system, so it opens differently, clearing the bodywork. This sounds minor, but it's not. It's a perfect example of how one change ripples through the entire car. Wider fenders mean more downforce. More downforce means more heat. More heat means new materials. New materials mean new clearances. And new clearances mean re-engineering small things like a fuel door. Nothing is isolated. Everything connects. And Ford solved it without compromising access, durability, or speed. That's systems thinking, and it's why the GTD feels like a complete package, not a modified coupe. At 81.7 inches wide, the GTD is technically wide enough to require orange clearance lights, like trucks and commercial vehicles. But Ford avoided them entirely. How? By proving it's not a commercial vehicle. The law applies only to vehicles that can be used for both private and commercial purposes, like vans and pickups. The GTD? Purely private. No cargo space, no utility, just performance. So no lights. And yet the mirrors extend only 0.2 inches past the fenders, meaning it's barely wider than the mirrors themselves. This is engineering genius wrapped in legal precision. Ford didn't just build a wide car. They built one that exploits the rules, staying aggressive without becoming a target for regulators. It's bold, smart, and very American. The massive hood vents aren't just for show, but they weren't enough. Ford discovered that even with the grilles, hot air was trapping in the engine bay. So they made the mesh removable, unbolted from underneath, and you get maximum airflow. Perfect for track days. But there's more. The aero flicks wrapping around each vent were 3D printed during Nürburgring testing. Engineers noticed lap times dropping when they added them. So they sent the design back to Michigan, and now they're standard on the track package. This is rapid prototyping at its best. Test, learn, adapt, win. No bureaucracy, no delays, just results. The front fender vents don't just look cool, they're aerodynamic weapons. They release high-pressure air from the wheel wells, reducing drag and lift. But getting them right took over 120 design iterations. Engineers tweaked fin angles, mesh density, and outlet shapes, balancing maximum airflow with legal requirements and debris protection. Rocks, mud, water, all had to be managed, and every change affected downforce, noise, and cooling. This wasn't guesswork. It was computational fluid dynamics married to real-world validation. The result? A vent that looks aggressive but works silently, doing its job without fanfare. The scoops on the rear fenders don't cool brakes. They manage wheel well pressure. Brake cooling is handled entirely under the car via floor ducts. These scoops channel air around the tires, reducing turbulence and stabilizing the rear end at high speed. And no, they don't feed the transaxle cooler. That's under the trunk lid. Every duct has a purpose. None are wasted. This is surgical airflow management, not random holes. That silver strut above the rear light, it doesn't support anything. It's there because federal law requires openings to be too small for a child's head to get stuck, regardless of whether it's physically possible. So Ford added a bar, even though no kid could reach it. It's a reminder, even in a free 25K race car, regulations rule. Almost every body line is new, except the character line below the side windows, which stayed due to crash safety. Roof lines, hood creases, vent edges, all redesigned for aerodynamics. Some symmetry was lost when vents grew larger, but function won over form. The daytime running lights are yellow, not white. Why? Because Ford Performance uses yellow as its signature, seen on Raptors and race cars. It's a subtle nod. This isn't just a Mustang, it's a factory race car. The hydraulics lower the car 1.6 inches in front, 1.2 in rear in track mode, and also lift the nose for curbs. They control the rear wing and front flaps too. And the 325 series front tires? Widest ever on a production street car, beating the Camaro Z28. Only the LM002 was wider 40 years ago. The GTD isn't just fast, it's obsessive, proud, and defiant. It's Ford saying, we can beat Europe at its own game, with American muscle, intelligence, and grit. At $325,000, it's not cheap, but it's not just a car, it's a declaration. Would I take the GTD over a 911 GT3 RS? On track, yes. For daily life? Probably not. But I'd want one in my garage. What do you think? Is the GTD the greatest Mustang ever? Could you see yourself in a $325,000 American hypercar? Drop a comment below. Smash that like button if you want more honest performance car reviews. And subscribe, because we're not just covering cars. We're tracking the ones that define American ingenuity. Until next time, stay wide, stay wild.